I know it's actually like a perfect, gorgeous night. It's supposed to be really hot tomorrow, so I think it kind of warmed up as the day went on. Yeah. Yep. Ah. Oh, it is. It's gorgeous.
One of my social badges was actually against the former wall in Lions, and I've kept it all this time, but it's me looking this way. We used to play. Nadav and I would walk
With families, it's probably better.
played up there.
It's not a catastrophe if they sit together, but yeah.
Lights are new, right? That's relatively. Well, maybe for I haven't been here in a couple years. New to me. That's awesome.
Shabbat shalom. Not here. They're off site. There's nobody here.
But they're not. How do they know when to start?
You don't. You just go. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Please come on in and have a seat. We're going to begin together in just a moment. I invite you to find we've got family-sized pods for you to sit in. The benches around the perimeter work for seating as well. Please come in and find yourself a good spot. Shabbat shalom, everyone. I want to make sure that you all have a copy of the prayer book and also a copy of the supplemental page. Should be stuffed right there inside the prayer book, so you should be able to easily access it. The good news is, as we start right now, you don't need either one of them, because there are only two words that I'm going to ask you to sing with me as we welcome each other into this celebration of Shabbat. And they are a simple greeting, Shabbat Shalom. Melody goes like this. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Try it with me. That's all there is to it. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. I only heard Jeremy Brockman say Shabbat shalom. Let's try. Thank you, Jeremy. And maybe we all can wish one another Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's really good to be in this space with all of you, and particularly exciting because on this Shabbat, we get to all participate in blessing our 6th grade students as they begin this journey toward B'nai Mitzvah over this next year. And so it's really wonderful that we as a community, both in person and at home, get to be a part of that. And one of the customs in my family growing up on Shabbat was that in order to get dessert, you had to go around the table and share one thing that you are grateful for, one thing that you
Did they
just
really not give you dessert if
I
you
mean,
didn't do it?
I mean, I always said it.
I mean, I'm just testing out the theory. Like, if you didn't do it, did they actually not give the dessert?
I mean,
That would explain so much.
we could say, yeah, clearly we're psychoanalyzing my family for all of my closest friends. Exactly. My mom is watching. She's loving this. But yes, but really we did. And I will ask her about that. But you will still get dessert. And we are going to invite you to just turn to your family, if you're here with your family, or turn to someone next to you and just to share one thing from this past week that you want to say thank you for. In addition to the Dodgers.
No, that's a good thing. You can use that one.
Legit. Welcome to those of you coming in. We're just sharing one thing that we are grateful for on this Shabbat with our families. Seagulls, you get the front row. You won. You really, it may not seem like it, but you won.
Delighted to hear this outdoor chapel filled with the sharing of stories and blessings. Raise your hand if one of the things you shared gratitude for was the Dodgers' incredible victory last night. Yep. I don't know where the people who view our services now online, people watch services all over the country. So if you happen to be joining us from San Francisco,
Nice modeling, Rabbi Chasen. Nice modeling.
I'm not at my best. No dessert for me. No, this is Leobeck Temple. This is Leobeck Temple where everyone gets dessert. And so, with that said, let us sing a new song to God.
To God, Rabbi Chasen, to God.
In gratitude for all of the joys of this past week, especially last night. And here, as we enter into this Shabbat, creating community with one another, the words can be found in the prayer book on page 344, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash. Let us sing to God a new song. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Hear your voices. Oh yeah. Kol haaretz shir chadash.
We are on page 20, Lecha Dodi, welcoming Shabbat, just like we would welcome the celebration of two partners coming together at a wedding. We're going to be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. page 20.
That's probably a little confusing. Yeah, we're going to do the top 2 verses on page 20, and then the top and bottom verses
got
on
it.
page 21.
I got it.
I got it. No.
Yeah,
1,
they
2, 5,
got
and
it.
9. Get out your Sudoku. It's time for Lecha Dodi.
Page 20.
I clearly needed more sleep last night.
We got a sassy Rabbi Chasen tonight, and it's fun. It's fun.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavela. Shamor v'zachor v'diburecha, Tishmi'anu el ha'miyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, U'shem u'tiferet v'tihila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, Ki mekor habracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh v'machshava tefila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavela.
Top of 21.
Hitoreri, hitoreri, Ki ba'orech kuli orim, Uri uri shihda beru, Kivod Adonai alai hila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavela. If you can stand and face the entrance to our outdoor chapel, that will enable us to experience in our mind's eye the entrance of the Shabbat bride. Welcome her in beauty and in love. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, Gam b'simcha ובצהלה, תוך אמוני העם סגולה, בואי חלה, lecha dodi kakala, Pnei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavela.
We continue standing for our Baruch Hu prayer on page 28. And as we talk often with our students about, is that we can't just expect to sit down and that prayer will automatically just be easy or come to us, but that we actually go through this practice round. All of the prayers we just said are really us warming up. We're warming up our hearts, opening up our hearts. We're warming up our minds, getting us over the, are we singing in a different language? Are we really going to bounce around and do this pretty vulnerable act of praying together? And are we also arriving in this moment and letting go of everything else that happened in this week? So we join together in these words, Baruch Hu, am I awake? Am I here and ready for this prayer together? Page 28.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake?
much divisiveness in our world, we come to our Shema prayer and that important word echad, one, reminding us that even though we might feel distanced from one another, we really are still connected purely just through our humanity. And so we're going to join together in these sacred words. They are on page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. On page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Let's read together on the top of 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 40.
מלכות תחרה ובניך מותי הים
for that feeling of comfort and of safety. And I imagine each of us could think of a place. We often talk about this on Wednesdays in our Hebrew school tefillah. We think about a place where we feel that feeling of safety and of wholeness, or the people who help to give us that feeling of comfort and of wholeness. And so as we join together in our nighttime prayer, Hashkivenu, we pray for all of us to return or to have moments of that inner comfort, and also for our world, the place that is just desperately steeped in so many injustices, so much uncertainty, that the people all around this earth can also get that same feeling as well. So we're going to join together Hashkivenu. It can be found bottom right of your supplemental page.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom, L'shalom, L'ha'amidu L'makenu L'chaim. Yifros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Yifros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai, guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai, keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning light. Teach us not wrong from right. Amen. Let's hear you. Amen.
It's like R2D2. It's over there on the wall. Yeah, Star Wars.
Those of you who are praying with us from a distance and at your homes, I believe the rabbi just referred to you as R2D2. We apologize for that indiscretion.
Star Wars.
But Star Wars. It's
Star
true. And the
Wars.
stars are coming out, and we're celebrating the beauty of nature all around us. Are we not, Rabbi?
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, our next prayer, the Amidah, is our central prayer, and it's often understood as a conversation that we are meant to have with God. But I wonder what it would look like if we actually thought of the Amidah as a conversation that we get to have with ourselves, right? We take our cars into the shop because they need a checkup, or we go to the dentist because we want to make sure our teeth are clean and healthy. And I think it can be the same with prayer, with the Amidah specifically. It can be like our spiritual tune-up, to think about what is in our hearts. Did we just have a rough week and we just need to take a breath on this Shabbat? Are we feeling full and joyful and just want to surround ourselves with the people that we love? Are we at a crossroads where we need to make a tough choice and we just don't have guidance and don't know what to do? Did we get a ton of homework? Are we just doing so much baseball, which we love, but it makes us really tired? Whatever it is, this is our chance to really get a moment to look within ourselves and to just be present with whatever it is that we're feeling and that's going on within ourselves. And so we're going to join together in these opening words. God, open up our lips. that our mouths, may our words, may our actions be worthy of your praise. We are on page 46. Please rise.
Open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai
48.
Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekoneh Hakol V'Zocher Chastei Avot Ve'imahot U'Mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem Leman Shmo Be'ava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Ata Rav Lehoshia Mashiva Ruach U'Morid Hagashem Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Baal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Meimit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kadoshim b'chol yom Yahalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue in silence through page 62. You can continue praying the words of the prayer book or just take some quiet time for yourself and be seated whenever you are ready.
A lot of folks are kind of down on prayers for peace. It's like, my goodness, there's no amount of praying for peace that's going to bring peace to a world that's so fractured. Not so of this particular prayer of peace, because it's not one that absolves us of taking action. It's actually one that charges us with the responsibility. Oseh shalom bimromav. May you, the one who makes peace in the highest places, God, inspire us to be the ones who create peace in our families, in our community, in our cities, our state, our country, and all over the world. Let that be our prayer for peace on this night. We're on page 60 in the prayer book. Say shalom bimrona, huya say shalom aleinu. Say shalom bimrona, huya say shalom aleinu. Say shalom bimrona, huya say Shalom Aleinu, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Le'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Le'al Kol Yisrael. Shalom Aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei Torah. Woo!
We got a good crowd here tonight.
I feel like I'm responsible for the unruliness that has happened here. I want to apologize.
Oh, wow. Well, in this week's Torah portion, Lech Lecha, we read of Avram's first encounter with God, and it's pretty audacious. Upon speaking to Avram for the first time, God instructs him, leave your home and your community in Haran, everything that you're used to, everything that is comfortable to you, and go to a place that I will show you. God doesn't tell Avram where he's going or why he's going. God simply promises, I will make of you a great nation and I will bless you. And shockingly, Avram agrees. He picks up his life and he sets towards Canaan with his wife Sarai and his nephew Lot. And every time I read this text, I can't help but wonder, why does Avram have to leave? And what's more, why does he actually say yes? Well, of course, our rabbinic sages provide some possible answers for us. According to the medieval commentator Rashi, Avram had to leave his home in Haran because he couldn't become the type of person that he needed to be there. The environment was one that would continually limit his development. Rashi wisely acknowledges that we too must be deliberate about where we spend our time and with whom we spend it. For all of us are products of our environment. The way we think and the way we behave is impacted by our friends that we choose, the communities that we're a part of, and the activities and the workplaces where we spend so much of our time. This interpretation of God's command for Avram to leave reminds us that we must be discerning about whether that friend or that colleague is helping us to become our most loving and kind selves, or whether that school activity or workplace environment is really allowing us to explore our best selves. The Hasidic master Sfat Emet takes this idea a step further. He translates God's famous command, Lech Lecha, as go to yourself or go towards yourself. Go to that for which you were designed to do, or go to your roots to find your potential. In other words, go discover who you are and what you can offer to the world. As Nachmanides, another medieval thinker, explains, get on with you. Isn't that so cool? Get on with you. From this perspective, God's command to Avram, Lech Lecha, is less of a lesson in finding our place as much as it is a lesson in finding ourselves. Because each of us has a voice inside us that's calling us to get going, to rush towards the possibility of love, to move, to be courageous, and to pursue a new opportunity or to face a new challenge, to go and to get going so that we can do our unique work in the world. His call to Avram then represents not a physical journey, but a spiritual one that all of us undertake. He and his family choose a path of change, a possibility of exploration, and it's a path that many of our students are beginning with us here tonight. For while many of us like to think of B'nai Mitzvah as simply a Jewish rite of passage, this process that our students will go through over the next year is about much more than a day or a service. It's really a journey of going toward yourselves, considering who you want to surround yourselves with, and discerning how you want to spend your time and identifying the values that help you to make these choices. It is a path of thinking outside ourselves to consider the unique gifts that you possess and to begin to imagine and to practice how you want to employ those gifts to impact the world around you. It's a path of connecting with your family in a new and perhaps more mature way. It's a path of building friendships and community with those who are in this space with you here tonight, who will be journeying alongside you. And mostly, it's a path of getting to know yourself and really starting to listen more curiously to that voice within you. And so tonight, as we welcome our sixth grade students into this sacred journey of learning and community as they begin the process of preparing for their B'nai Mitzvah, we're going to invite all of our students up one by one to receive their very own Torah commentary, with the hopes that you too will find refuge and guidance from the timeless lessons of our tradition as you go towards yourselves more fully in this year. Rabbi Chasen and I, our whole clergy team, our whole leadership is just really excited and honored to be a part of this journey with each of you and your families. So when I call your name, we're going to invite you to come right up here, and you're each going to receive your Torah commentary, and then we're going to offer you and your families a special blessing. Blythe Ballas. Anais Sky Bardove. Zane Belson. Nadav Brockman. The death stare. Jack Gelser.
Jack.
Whose sister actually just became a bat mitzvah only a few weeks ago. Zoe Green. Nope, she's not here.
Not here.
Jake Henderson. Can you, you're good. Hit this down. Lucas Kaplan. He's ready. He's ready.
Got the pageant wave down. That was impressive. Really impressive.
Oscar Lopez de Hulse. You're so welcome. Alex Siegel. Ella Schumann. Am I missing any other students who are here that I'm missing? Okay.
Is anybody here who we weren't expecting that we're missing a student from the grade? I think this is our gang. Outstanding. Well, here's what I would like. First off, I heard as these folks were coming up and receiving their Torah, that book that you just received has the entire Torah in it, has the English translation of the entire Torah in it, has all kinds of commentaries and teachings about every section of the Torah. It includes all of the Haftarot, all of the other passages from elsewhere in the Hebrew Bible that we read on every Shabbat, and you guys are going to all be reading both Torah and Haftarah, so you'll have the opportunity to study that from that brand new volume that is now yours. And I was noticing as you guys were coming up, a couple people were like, wow, it's kind of feels like graduation. It does feel like graduation, but as opposed to graduation from, feels a lot like graduation into. And that's really what bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, b'nai mitzvah is really all about. You guys are graduating into a new status as a part of our community, a new place in your own Jewish lives, a place of responsibility, a place of honor and respect, a place where you get to not only be a student of Torah, but a teacher of Torah for all of us. For our moms and dads out there, it is an extraordinary honor for us to get to partner with you in celebrating a moment that is so rich like this. And when I say celebrating a moment, it is exactly as Rabbi Bernie described. The moment, that day, is only the culmination of an extraordinary journey that is really beginning right now and will reach a unique vista on that day, and then you've graduated into, not away from, but into. And we look forward to walking that road with each and every one of you, and that includes our parents as well. And so I'd like to invite the mothers and fathers of these students to come forward. It's going to be a little bit compact to fill in. You got your masks, so that's good news, and I got my negative PCR test, so just want to make sure we're being clear about that. Come on up. And please be close to your student right now, because we're going to be bringing loving blessing to your children. And so you guys first and foremost as a vessel of that blessing. So for our families, what I want to say to you is on the day that you become a bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, b'nai mitzvah, on the day that you celebrate, right now I'm sure you picture that day and you're like, oh my God, I got to know so much stuff. I don't know the stuff. It's big trouble. Here's the thing. You got a lot of time between now and then when you get to know the stuff. Some of you even have older siblings who once upon a time were where you are and didn't know the stuff, and then they knew the stuff because they worked really hard and they had a lot to be proud of, to celebrate. Some of our families have had the chance to do that very, very, very recently. And so coming soon, it will happen for all of you as well. On that day, your family, you, your parents, and one of us rabbis, and that includes Rabbi Ross, one of us will be with you to help you celebrate on that actual day. All of us will be involved in preparing you for that day. We each really love working with every single one of our students, but we end up having to arm wrestle over who gets to do all the services, so we have to divide those up just to be fair. But one of us will be with you, and we're going to end up gathering with you right outside the prayer space. If by then, maybe we'll be back indoors in our main sanctuary for all those services. We usually, when we're doing that, we're inside the little contemplation chapel space that's just outside the sanctuary. Beautiful little room with skylight. And we're going to be there with you, and we're going to say something to you along these lines. And you'll just hear it differently then than you're going to hear it now. When we're there with you there, we're going to say to you, because we're going to feel your heart pounding. You're going to be real nervous. It just comes with the territory. You're not going to have any really good reason to be nervous because you're going to know everything. And you're going to be super ready to go. But you're going to be like, oh, my family, my friends, the community, they're all out there. And always you're most amped about something the moment before you go to do it. Once you actually get out there, it's amazing. Every one of our students just kind of like, they pop that thing into gear and off they go. And it's a really amazing, good time. Like, you're not going to want it to end, and it will go super fast. But while you're waiting to go out there, yeah, we can feel a little bit of the heart pounding. And so one of the things that we usually like to say to you at that time, and it's every bit as true now as it will be then, that day is just an opportunity for you to share what you've learned along that journey, that Lech Lecha journey, this week in the Torah that Rabbi Bernie just taught us about. That business of going forth to yourself is really what this is all about. That day is just an opportunity to share where you showed up. It's not really what makes you a bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. It's just an opportunity to share it with everybody who loves you the most. And so for our money, on that day, we always say to you, you've already accomplished it. Instead of feeling all stressed and pressure about getting out there and having to be perfect, which nobody is going to be perfect, and you shouldn't be obsessed with being perfect. You should be obsessed with being perfect here. Bring your spirit fully to this experience, and then it will be perfect, regardless of whether or not the Hebrew letter comes out right or wrong. It's an opportunity to share that journey and to celebrate it. We're all going to be there to celebrate Lech Lecha, you going forth to a place you didn't know before, bravely, and standing on our bima and leading our community in prayer and in celebration of an incredible life moment in your life, in all of your lives. And so we're going to bestow blessings straight out of the Torah, but with music, to all of you who are right now embarking upon that journey to that place you haven't been before, but that you're going to be going to soon. And when you get there, we're going to remind you, this day is just about saying, I made it. It's just about standing at the top of the mountain that you climbed and looking down at the incredible view. It's not about that day being the thing. It's about everything that leads to that day. We look forward to walking that road with each and every one of you as you go forward to yourself and discover what is to be discovered by taking this journey together as classmates, as family members, and for each one of you individually as a bar bat mitzvah. For those who'd like to join with me in singing words of blessing for their going forth, all of you, the words can be found on page 341. Page 341. L'chilach, lech lecha. Go forth to yourselves over the course of this process, and we look forward to journeying along with you there and beyond. To a land that I will show you, Lech Lecha, to a place you do not know, on your journey I will bless you. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. And I shall make your name great. Lech Lecha. And all shall praise your name. Lechila, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim. shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. If we love. Mazal Tov in advance. We're going to be on the journey with you every step of the way. We look forward to watching you, partnering with you as you go forth to yourselves and all that you will discover about yourself on the way to Bar Bat Mitzvah. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As you're returning to your seats, I invite you to open up in the prayer book to the middle of page 253. Middle of 253 is a prayer for healing and strength. This night is filled with so much joy and promise and hope for the future in our community and in all of your families. We need to bring some measure of that restoration that we're all feeling right now, all that hope that we're feeling right now because of all of you students. We need to bring that to those who are struggling the most in their lives with illness, with brokenness, with despair or disillusionment. And so in a moment, we're going to join together in the words that are found in the middle of page 253. But before we do that, I want to invite anyone who'd like to speak aloud the name of someone in your personal circle, family member, friend, member of your community, maybe a co-worker or someone you know from school. If you want to speak aloud the name of someone you'd like to include in our collective prayer for healing on this Shabbat, I invite you to stand at this time, and when my eyes meet yours, you can speak those names aloud to our congregation. Please join with me, middle of 253. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Aleinu can be found at the bottom of page 282. If you're able, please rise. עלינו לשבח לאדוני כל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד. You may be seated. Some words to help us prepare for the recitation of Kaddish prayer this evening, words that can be found on page 292. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear. But if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those about us. The psalmist said that in his affliction, he learned the law of God. And in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silent in their presence, and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. And thus, even when they're gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as in their higher moments they themselves wished to live. We remember them now. They live in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing. As we prepare to recite the Kaddish prayer this evening, we remember especially our longtime members, Milton and Helen Zarin, whom death has taken from us in recent days. We link their names with Harriet Faye Cohen, Ira Daniel Deutsch, Edith Dreller, Sam Eckley, Helen Fields, Brenna Fox, Meyer Geringer, Gloria Heckler, William Clifford Kahan, Dorothy Katz, Reuben Klamer, Sheldon Lieberman, Stephen N. Lowe, Jr., Israel Jacob Michaelov, Michael Rich, Irving Richmond, Riva Schlesinger, Gilbert Schneider, Cecil Schultz, Barbara Weingarten. Are there other names we should include? If so, please speak them aloud. We think as well of all those who we name in our hearts, and also those who have perished in the millions all around the world from COVID-19. We think also, of course, of all those who have lost their lives as innocent victims of violence, as we have rededicated ourselves tonight to imitating the one who makes peace in the highest places, to us being peacemakers here on earth. Holding them all close at heart, we say, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, the memory of the righteous is an everlasting blessing, as together we give thanks for the blessing of life, with the words of Mourner's Kaddish, found on page 294. If you're able, please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל. שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה. דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו amen. May the giver of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved among us. And let us together say, amen. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו Shalom במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו Shabbat Shalom.
For our B'nai Mitzvah families, tomorrow we will meet here 9:30. Please bring your Torah commentaries with you. We're going to study some Torah. So 9:30 a.m. right here tomorrow morning.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.